So here we have a dented fender on this Chevy truck. You can see it's dented in multiple spots. It's got like a ridge line and the dents, and our goal is to fix it quickly and to be able to fix it using simple tools. So here I have a screwdriver type flathead thing, and I'm going to be using this just to show you can literally use anything that you have laying around. So the goal here is just to reach in behind the fender and start just pressing on it to pop the dent out as close to flush as possible. So here I am just putting it in between the liner and the fender, and I have one hand holding the camera, and so I'm literally doing this with one hand. If I had two hands it would be a lot easier, but that also goes to show you how simple a repair like this can be. So now I'm just simply putting my hand in there, and if you watch carefully you'll see the dent kind of pop out. See it popping there. And now I'm just going to pull on it and straighten it out. So now I grab this little piece of metal rod and I'm tapping the fender in, because what I've done is I've pulled it out, but anywhere where it's pulled out too far, you don't want that. You want it to be either flush or slightly in. So I'm just tapping the fender back in and I'm checking to make sure the lines are flush or slightly recessed in. So once again, you can just use any tool. Now I'm going to grab some lightweight filler because we have just an extremely thin coat of filler needed to straighten it out since we've pulled the fender out. I'm adding quite a bit of hardener because I want it to cure fast. If you're not in a rush, you can add less hardener and it will actually make the filler stronger. But for this repair, the strength of this filler with the amount of hardener I put on is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and really focus on containing the repair just to the damage area. Don't start spreading it wide and covering half the fender in filler and in primer and all sorts of things like that, paint and things, because then what's going to end up happening is you're not going to have a good paint match. Really focus on containing the damage area to as small surface as possible. So as you can see, I'm literally only fixing the damaged area and nowhere else. That's the key here. So I'm going to apply enough filler, and you don't need to really worry about your lines of the filler being perfect. Just put some on, make sure it's on well enough and thick enough for you then to shape it with a block sander. Anytime you're working with straight lines like this, you want to sand the filler with some sort of block. You don't want to go in with anything that could give you a hard time trying to make a straight edge. So now that the filler is dry, I just grab a piece of wood and some sandpaper. I'm using 80 grit. And here I go, literally less than 5 minutes of hand sanding here. Don't even need to use a machine. And I'm going to have a perfectly sanded straight edge. And once again, notice I'm using a block of wood. No need to buy fancy tools. Just use what you have. Here we go. So now I have, after sanding it, I have primed the area. Once again, take note that I'm containing even the primer into just that work area. So I've masked off around where I don't want the primer. And when I remove the masking, there you go. So it's highly contained because all the white surrounding the repair area is necessary for me to get a good blend. Now I'm going to take a 400 grit. You can use 600, you could use 800 if you'd like. You can use a scratch pad if you like. And I'm just smoothing the edges of the primer so I have no ridges when I paint. After wiping the fender with wax and grease remover, I'm going to use a tack cloth to get rid of any dust and debris. Now, I'm using a Chrysler paint for a Chevy truck. Once again, because I've contained the damage to such a small area, the paint doesn't need to be perfect in order to get a perfect match. So I have this paint laying around and I'm just going to use it because I know it's going to be a beautifully perfect match and you won't see any tone difference when I'm done, simply because we've contained it. However, if I was painting right to the edge of the fender, you may notice a different tone. So once I have it covered, I'm going to go ahead and spray on the clear coat. And there you have it. Nice, shiny clear, perfectly repaired. The whole thing done in about an hour time. And you got yourself a smart repair. Now I'll remove the masking on the truck. Let's take a look at the color match. You can see the lines are real nice. And we'll see how it blends with the rest of the truck. Perfect. There you have it. Notice how you can't tell the difference in paint? Thank you for watching.